sir. Thank you.
What's that?
That's a website written by Muslims, and it's a Muslim case against.
Why you have to put a Muslim name there?
Why not the Jews?
The Jews, why not the Jews and the Christians?
I see, I'm ready
you're
for
hiding
that.
the Jew one, isn't it? Yeah? You're naughty, man.
There's always a lot more Muslims here than Jews.
You're naughty, man. No, but it's true, because them and us, we are so close to each other
I know.
and do things. But when it comes to flipping Palestine, we kill each other.
No, I sometimes have Jewish people, depending on which way around it is.
But it's
Why are they
crazy,
Jews? So it's turned around.
No,
okay.
but what is this? So
okay.
what?
Okay, I lead the only men's rights party in the world.
Oh, for God's sake, don't bring men. You don't see these feminists, what have they done?
I'm sorry, I lead a party.
They have
it's a men's rights
hijacked
party.
feminism. Now we men are going to hijack menism or something like that.
No, there's no male equivalent to it. But it's illegal. It's been illegal since 1861.
No, for God's sake,
it's all in there.
It's not illegal.
It is illegal.
It
is illegal. Yes. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. Because it's.
I've done my son.
Well, you committed a crime. You had a crime, and the man.
What do you mean a crime?
It's
for
a crime.
God's sake.
It's actual bodily harm. So
this is silly. You know that. This is
it's
silly.
not. It's not silly.
It is.
It's not remotely silly.
It is silly.
It's a crime, and I'm going to be hopefully appearing in the High Court.
For men.
In the Justice for Men and Boys.
This is crazy.
So.
But what if they agree to it? What if they I'm glad my dad got it done when I was a kid. I'm glad. I'm happy.
That's not
I
the
have no
point.
qualms with it.
What rights does the child or the baby have?
Human rights, obviously, I guess. But at the end of the day, it's up to the parents, isn't it? But if
Well,
the
it
child
shouldn't. It's
says
not up
it's
to. No, it's not up to that. The point is, it's a crime. People think
it's a crime?
Well,
See, that is the problem.
Well, I'm just about to
we
explain.
are taking everything away from parents. This is not to parents. This is not to parents. Let them do whatever they want.
Well, how about female circumcision then? Should they be allowed to circumcise their girls?
No, that's not allowed. That's different.
Well, why?
Because they are women.
They don't need it.
And that severely damages women.
Yeah, damages women.
All male circumcision is more injurious than most female circumcision.
No, I mean,
biological fact.
No.
Because it takes away, it removes 90% of the yeah.
Who cares? Who cares?
Well, I would care if 90% of my sexual
you
pleasure.
don't do it then. But don't tell somebody else. I mean, it's no. The thing is, if you're don't film me. It's the point. It's
just an audio then.
It's your perspective looking at it, or shall I say, it's your.
A lot of women in Western countries get circumcision as well, like labiaplasty and clitoral hood reduction.
That's adults. I mean, if adult men choose to do this, but the fact is, this is a crime. There's no question that this is a crime.
But have you just looked at that as its actual bodily harm, or is it actually written?
Oh, it is.
So,
no.
The mothers should stop piercing their.
I think they should, yeah, but that's something else. But no, the point. But the point is, circumcision is at least actual bodily harm and probably grievous bodily harm.
No, it's not.
It is. You can't just say.
They are babies. They do nothing. That's it.
So would you be okay with if you grew
And
up
it's good for health as well.
decide I want to be circumcised?
Hygiene.
Muslims always talk about hygiene.
So what?
No, I'm saying.
we shouldn't?
No.
Oh, you mean Muslims are dirty then?
What?
In Islam,
Do you know what I mean? You just said that.
I didn't say that.
Muslim always talk about hygiene. Of course we do.
No,
because we wash 5 times a day. We clean 5 times a day for the prayer.
Well, you can watch that 5 times a
in
day.
Islam,
Yeah.
circumcision is not actually compulsory.
Yeah, it's a sunnah.
It's a sunnah,
It's a sunnah.
No, I understand that.
Then, what is the point?
Males.
Yeah. Females.
Muslims always talk about hygiene, you damn Muslims. Don't talk about hygiene
I
anymore.
didn't say. I didn't say that.
No, I didn't mean it.
Okay.
I'm just joking.
But the point is, it is a crime, and we're.
It's not a
It
crime.
is a crime. It is. It's a crime. The Offences Against a Person Act, 1861. It's at least actual bodily harm, and probably grievous bodily harm. Almost certainly.
Why is it not banned?
Well, because the criminal justice system doesn't care about males in lots and lots of areas. Males are subhuman.
No, but I am circumcised. There's nothing wrong with me. What do you mean?
Don't hospitals do it?
Yeah, they do it.
Yeah, but it's
My
still a
son has been
crime.
done in the
No,
hospital.
They would ban it if it was
no, it's like paternity fraud, okay? Paternity fraud, which is where a woman gets a man to bring up a son.
Now this is misogyny.
No. But I'm trying to explain. No, you're saying because it goes on in hospitals, it can't be a crime. And
I think the government would ban it if it was a crime.
No,
no.
the government doesn't argue that it's not a crime. We've sent freedom of information requests. They do not deny it's a crime. but they will not bring prosecutions.
It's clean. It's for hygiene. Trust me, it's good. Even the doctor.
I know, but there are no exemptions to the law for religious or cultural reasons. None.
You know, why is it that so many states in America have?
To be honest, that's probably why they won't ban it. It's because of the religious.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
Of course, they
Of
can't
course.
ban it. Why should they ban it? If somebody
Should
wants
be.
the chop, who is there to stop?
Maybe when there's more atheists in this country.
There's already plenty of atheists. There's no shortage of atheists.
Yeah, more atheists, maybe. Yeah,
It
but
could
in
happen.
America they do it.
They do.
A lot.
It's a very strange thing.
So go in Washington D.C. and say, you know, Americans.
There's plenty.
Damn you.
There's plenty of
It's
Americans that are against
but
it.
where are we gonna stop? Ban this, ban that, do this,
No, this
do
is-
that. Where are we gonna stop?
It's a human rights
There are
violation.
studies on it, like
Human rights.
circumcision is good for you.
That is the problem.
Like in
Human
America,
rights.
because they
The
do.
people
We have too many rights.
you want to ban this, you are violating your human rights then. The government, the MPs who make laws there, they're fucking everyone up, even including you. You can't do nothing.
Well, the law's there. It's just not
because
being.
you have already
It's just not.
voted for them to make the law.
It's just not being implemented.
Yeah, but the law, they
like
make the law
prostitution.
the way they want it.
Anyway,
prostitution is not.
it was a pleasure to meet you,
You
sir.
too, you
I
too.
hope I didn't offend it.
No, no, no.
I'm really sorry if I did.
No,
Thank you very
not,
much.
not at all.
Sorry about
It's
that.
good to meet you guys. Good to meet you. See, circumcision, you see, makes men very angry.
What?
It makes them very angry and loud.
I'm okay. If they want to ban it, I'm with you.
Hello, madam. Can I give you a leaflet?
Well,
Thank you very much.
there is a problem. There's nobody being prosecuted for the for female. It's against the law for females, and it's happening all the time, and nobody's being prosecuted.
And do you know why? Because it's been carried out by middle-aged and elderly black women, and the feminist narrative has to be maintained that it's evil white men that are doing this, and it's not.
Well, what I heard.
But can we talk about male genital mutilation? I'm not interested in talking about female genital mutilation because that's all we ever hear about.
Yeah, well, because that really can be dangerous.
All male circumcision is more injurious than almost all female
Are you
circumcision.
saying that male circumcision is illegal?
It's illegal. It's not specifically, but it doesn't need.
No.
It doesn't need to be. It's illegal under the Offences Against a Person Act. It is illegal.
Female is illegal,
It's-
and it's not being
do-
prosecuted.
If you just listen for a minute, it's illegal under the Offences Against a Person Act because it's actual bodily harm.
Well, I don't think it's illegal if it's male, but it is if it's female.
No, you're completely. You're not listening. You're not listening.
You're saying it's not illegal if it's male. because
No,
it
what I'm
doesn't
saying is
permanent damage.
it's illegal by dint of it being at least actual bodily harm and probably grievous bodily harm. And
Is it against the law?
it doesn't need to be specifically against the law.
Yeah,
It's
but
bodily
the
harm.
The female is.
Well, of course, that's because of bloody feminists, isn't it?
Well, I
Who
don't
didn't
know
give a damn
about
about men, male suffering. Enough. God. Hello, sir. Sir, leaflet? Can I give you a leaflet? I lead a political party, Justice for Men and Boys.
Why men?
Why men? Because men's human rights are assaulted in so many areas.
Males are circumcised in the hospital as well here.
I know, but it's still a crime. It's a crime under the Offences Against
Why
the
is
Person
that?
Act. It's an offence under the Offences Against the Person Act,
No, but it's
1861.
allowed, isn't it?
No, it's not stopped, but
I work in
it's still a
hospital, we
crime.
do circumcision.
I know, it's still a crime.
Well, against who? But if they want it,
How could a baby want it?
the parents want it.
Yes, but that's not the baby saying he wants
Well,
it.
I had it. I'm happy with it. It's a good decision.
Well, it might be for you, but that doesn't mean that a baby today should have
Health-wise,
it.
it's okay. Yeah.
No problem.
And also, because most people say, well, it's my religion. And that's why we speak a bit about that, because it is their religion. And they say, well, this is what we do, this is why we want to do it. Yeah, but it's illegal in this country. And if a person who are old enough decides to do it, then do it. But not an 8-day baby or a young boy. And when we were in Birmingham, I told this story just a moment ago, protesting when the Conservatives were there, we had a bloke go past with his mates and he came back. And he was a Muslim lad, or young man in his 20s. He had 5 brothers, so a big family, 6 boys. They went to a party, the family went to a party, and 6 of them, they were all circumcised on a coffee table by an imam, one after another. And they were going, and he was traumatized by it, and he had never heard anybody speaking out against it. And he came and got a leaflet, but he couldn't, he walked past and then had to come back. And he was a little bit shocked that we were talking about it in the open, because it wasn't good. And as a woman, you'll be saying that it's bad to circumcise a girl, and I agree. But you're quite happy, a lot of women are quite happy, I do my sons, it's fine. They don't read up about it. And if you're in England, it's good to do. If you're living in this country, find out what the laws are and see why people, there's always a reason why, usually a good one, on why there are laws for things. And we've met Muslim, Mike has a good video of a Muslim man who had a couple of his early sons circumcised and then realised he didn't want it done anymore. And he was very much against it. And he had obviously found out about it. And if you go on the internet, you can see pictures of men who have been horrendously badly circumcised, and it's ruined them.
This is a very good website, written by Muslims for Muslims.
And I'd love to have the cards that they hand out, but they never sent them to me because I'm not a Muslim. They probably thought I might misuse them or something. So we might have to meet a Muslim who'll order them for us. But,
thanks, sir. Thank you. I got the Jewish case against as well. Okay.
So there are Muslims involved in this.
I lead the only men's rights party in the world.
Oh right, okay.
Justice for Men and Boys, and this is our number one issue because, well, so many reasons. But it's illegal. It's been illegal since 1861 at least. Offences Against the Person Act, because it's actual bodily harm, and probably grievous bodily harm. So yeah, it's a crime, and I expect to be appearing in the High Court in the next few months, and so that should raise the profile, hopefully, a bit.
Yes.
But it's a shocking thing. I mean, it's just. And it's funny, Jews and Muslims are very different. Of course, both cultures do it.
Yes.
But Jews, well, yes, you're quite right. Yeah. But Jews always talk about this covenant with God, in Genesis.
Yes, yeah.
But Muslims will always talk about hygiene. Okay.
Yeah, I'll read this.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not practiced so much here though, is it? Is it in America or?
Oh, America's very high. It's like 75%.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary, and that goes back, we think, to Kellogg of cornflakes, for fame, who was something of a religious fundamentalist, and it was. I mean, the reasons. I mean, we have from a Jewish rabbi from the 12th century.
Yes.
The reason for it was to basically reduce adult men's libido.
Yes.
Because it takes away 90% of the nerve cells.
Yes.
So that's his way to stop boys masturbating, basically.
Yes.
And for the same reason he recommended carbolic acid on the clitorises of baby girls, for exactly the same reason.
Oh, horrendous. I'll read that.
Great. Good. Okay. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. And also bonding in a relationship and pleasure and making a strong relationship.